As badly as the WWE Universe wanted to see Shawn Michaels against The Undertaker, it seems that the two WWE legends wanted it even more, both giving it everything they had, both using some old tricks and some new ones. But ultimately, it ended as all of Undertaker's WrestleMania matches had to that point: a tombstone and a huge win. But nothing lasts forever, and Undertaker was about to learn this very painful lesson courtesy of Brock Lesnar. Oh yeah, you already know what this is about. Brock returned to WWE from the world of mixed martial arts in 2012, ready to conquer the world. A loss to John Cena would quickly derail the hype, but a rebound victory over Triple H at SummerSlam seemed to have the beast back on track. Still, Brock wasn't where he wanted to be as of the fall of 2013 approached, so he took a sabbatical from WWE. He'd return near the end of the year, demanding a WWE Championship match. Despite attempting to force the match, Brock was not given what he wanted. Instead, he'd receive an open contract for an opponent at WrestleMania. And this open contract would be answered by none other than The Undertaker, who would sign in Brock's blood after putting him through a table. It seemed impossible. Undertaker's streak was beyond legend, with names like Diesel, Randy Orton, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels all proudly displayed on the list. Even someone as monstrous as Brock Lesnar was seen as an underdog heading into the encounter. But Lesnar and his manager, Paul Heyman, were confident that they had what they needed to send a shockwave throughout all of WWE. They knew that with a win at WrestleMania, the world would be Brock's. He wouldn't have to demand anything ever again. It'd just be given to him. And New Orleans, Louisiana was prepared to see two of WWE's baddest brawlers collide in the center of the ring. Would an F5 send Undertaker's streak spinning? Would Undertaker find a way to send yet another opponent to rest with the other lost souls? You're going to have to step into the most intimidating scenario in WWE history, competing against The Undertaker at WrestleMania. You managed to protect the streak earlier. Can you now bring it to an end and leave everyone in attendance speechless? Brock couldn't let Undertaker dictate what took place. And a huge overhead belly-to-belly let everyone know that Brock wasn't intimidated. Undertaker, on the other hand, needed to employ his mental warfare, like landing on his feet when Brock tried to clothesline him to the floor to keep an edge on Brock. Neither man had a huge power advantage over the other, so it would be Undertaker's mind games against Brock's freakish athleticism. Brawling on the apron didn't get either man very far, though Undertaker was able to hit a shot on Brock over the top rope to get back into the match. The two had smashed each other with huge punches and knees, yet neither seemed to feel the effects. The WWE Universe wanted to see which Titan would blink first here. Brock had Undertaker against the ropes here and was ready to start putting it on him. Talking trash and taunting Undertaker after each clubbing blow, Brock was firmly in control. You can see the distant look in Undertaker's eyes as he tries to stay on his feet. No one had treated Undertaker like this before, and it was shocking to see Undertaker seemingly helpless against the onslaught of the Beast. Undertaker would dig deep, finding a DDT to put Brock down on the mat. Could Lesnar capitalize here? Undertaker was back to his feet first, but barely, still staggering in the corner. Brock looked to kill the comeback immediately, but ran into Undertaker's boot. The Phenom would need to stay alert and push the action if he was going to conquer the Beast. Brock refused to give Undertaker any room to breathe, smothering him whenever possible, and the effects were clear on Undertaker's face. But Undertaker would catch Brock with another big boot, and that gave him the opening to take Brock to school. Old school. Brock continued to shine in WrestleMania's most dangerous scenario. How did Brock manage to catch Undertaker like that? Proving time after time he would not wither. But Undertaker would show his supernatural resiliency, able to kick out of the F5 when it certainly seemed to many that he was finished. Undertaker was struggling in there with Brock, but wasn't out yet. Surely he'd be able to get back into this match and continue his WrestleMania domination? Brock's face is the picture of frustration here, but it seems misplaced when he's got firm control of this match. The big question right now is, what can Undertaker do to get back into the match? How can he keep the streak alive?
Undertaker gave everyone one last moment of hope as he elbowed free from Brock's F5 attempt. But a match that had seen Lesnar thwart Undertaker at every turn continued that trend. Will the tombstone be the answer, as it had been so many times before? The way Brock manhandled Undertaker to get him set for the F5 after he reversed the tombstone, looking back, it's so obvious that Undertaker's out. But at the moment, no one believed it was over, even after the F5. It was Undertaker. He'd kick out. He had to kick out. But he didn't. The looks on the faces. Just look at the shock on every fan in attendance. No one expected that to be it. And that speaks volumes about what Undertaker had built. The man had already survived multiple F5s, and the fans still thought he'd be able to survive the last one. Nobody will ever duplicate the 21-0 record that Undertaker set to open his WrestleMania career. Simply competing at 21 WrestleManias is a daunting enough task, but to win every single time out, it may not have lasted forever, but that is still a number that will live forever. And I have to say, I've never in my entire career heard a crowd react the way that crowd reacted to the end of the streak. Hell, I still can't believe it happened. It is still the most shocking ending to any match at WrestleMania. And I'm feeling the goosebumps again right now. Brock Lesnar pins The Undertaker in the middle of the WrestleMania 30 ring, silencing the entire arena. There will never be another Undertaker. But on this occasion, the night belonged to Brock Lesnar, as he conquered the juggernaut-like WrestleMania streak of The Undertaker.
Quite possibly the most jaw-dropping result in WrestleMania history. The Undertaker streak ends at the hands of Brock Lesnar. The looks on the faces of those in attendance told us everything. Nobody saw this coming. Our next match takes us to the Greater Bay Area of Northern California and WrestleMania 31 in 2015. Seth Rollins had been on top of the world ever since he decided to leave the Shield behind to do the bidding of the Authority. This move paid off instantly, as he'd capture the Money in the Bank briefcase in July of 2014. Rollins was untouchable, protected by those in power, and with the knowledge that at any moment, he could turn that briefcase into the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. All seemed to be well within the ranks of the Authority, but the harmony would not last long. Randy Orton, who had been the Authority's top hand until Rollins joined the ranks, didn't seem so happy with the favoritism his former rival was now enjoying. This would come to a head with Rollins attacking Orton following a tag team match, connecting with his vaunted stomp to make it clear that their association was now over. The Viper was furious, attempting to get revenge, but never quite finding it. Another stomp from Rollins would force Orton out of action for a few months, with Rollins bragging about his actions the entire time. But at Fastlane in February of 2015, Orton would make his return following a six-man tag featuring Rollins, delivering RKOs to everyone who got in his way. But as luck would have it, Rollins would manage to escape unharmed. Orton made it clear he wanted one thing, and one thing only: Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. Orton wanted to show the Authority they made a huge error in backing Rollins instead of Orton, and he was going to make an example of their new Golden Boy. The pressure's on. Can you humble Seth Rollins in front of an enormous WrestleMania audience? Or will this legend be the one you can't kill? The Stomp meets the RKO. Next. Orton and Rollins struggled early to take command of the match, mirroring the struggle for power the two had while both associated with the Authority. Orton was all business,
He knew that Rollins was dangerous, and he wasn't going to make any mistakes just trying to show off. Rollins, on the other hand, wanted to make his mark on the event, and he knew that a victory over Orton would send a message to the entire WWE roster. This need to make a statement almost cost Rollins when Orton followed up a dropkick with an attempt at the RKO. Was Rollins' arrogance going to cost him? Did he respect Orton's ability at all? It was Orton, though, who'd make the next mistake. Chasing Rollins around the ringside area and back in, where Rollins set him up for a devastating hot shot on the ropes. Just like that, Rollins had neutralized Orton's offense and looked ready to pour it on further. What adjustments would Orton have to make now that his RKO had failed him? And would he be able to make them in the moment against Rollins? Orton wanted to try for another RKO, knowing that the quick strike would be the end of Rollins whenever it hit. Every time Orton seized control, those two goons in Rollins' security would try and distract Orton, or even outright interfere. With the backing of the Authority, officials were hesitant to disqualify Rollins, or even have his security removed. With Rollins temporarily halted, Orton would look to remove Rollins' security from the equation himself. Was Orton making a mistake by leaving Rollins to recover? While we all pondered these questions, Seth Rollins provided the answer by wiping Orton out with a breathtaking suicide dive. Orton had squandered his advantage in the match for now. put Seth in a bad spot and backed into the corner, looking to deliver his infamous punt kick. But like they had already multiple times, Rollins' security ran back into the ring, where they'd both eat RKOs for their trouble. Once again, Rollins took advantage of the distraction, ceasing all of Orton's pressure with a stomp. The same stomp that had taken Orton out of action for months. Rollins would evade another attempt at the RKO as he had done throughout the match. But then, in a moment that will play in highlight reels forever, Randy Orton unleashes possibly his greatest RKO ever to stop Seth Rollins in his tracks. The Viper never looked better, expertly setting up his prey to make one wrong move so he could strike from, that's right, out of nowhere. Randy Orton's perseverance allowed him to overcome stifling 3-against-1 odds. And despite being unable to land the RKO on multiple occasions, when the moment presented itself, he fully took advantage. Orton, now able to truly show the authority that they had backed the wrong guy all along. Doubly satisfying. And Rollins' master plan had crumbled. He'd now live forever in WrestleMania highlight reels for all the wrong reasons. Surely there was nothing that could salvage this night for Seth. This was Randy Orton's night, and the only thing people would remember from this event would be that RKO. Nothing was going to change what Orton had done to Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins crashes to earth with one of the most famous RKOs ever, ending his quest for victory. A statement win for Randy Orton, but Seth Rollins wasn't done yet. Later that same evening, Brock Lesnar would take part in a match that had another surprising conclusion. The WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Brock had used his victory over Undertaker at WrestleMania 30 to get a championship match against John Cena at SummerSlam 2014, taking the title from Cena in a scary display of dominance. Since that victory, Brock had steamrolled everyone put in front of him, including an impressive defense of the title at the 2015 Royal Rumble against both Cena and Seth Rollins. It did not matter who stood across from Lesnar, he was going to eat, sleep, suplex, repeat his way to victory after victory. Roman Reigns capitalized on his growing momentum by winning the 2015 Royal Rumble, punching his ticket to take on the WWE World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania 31. The future tribal chief knew that he was destined to become WWE World Heavyweight Champion, showing no fear or intimidation in the presence of Lesnar. In a completely unexpected twist, something took place during that match that turned everything upside down. During a moment that saw both Lesnar and Reigns down on the mat, it would be the music of Seth Rollins that would hit, as he would be cashing in his Money in the Bank briefcase. And just like that, a one-on-one contest became a triple threat. To tell us more about what some consider to be the greatest cash-in ever, we have the visionary himself, Seth Rollins.
For WWE superstars, for myself especially, WrestleMania is everything. We work year-round, tirelessly, grinding, sacrificing. Every year you get ready to put on the best show. You want everything to peak at the right time because you know that that moment is going to be the most watched, witnessed moment of the entire year. And if you do it right, you can create something that's bigger than you and in some ways transcends our entire industry. I had my sights set on the main event of WrestleMania for some time though. I just needed the perfect opportunity to make sure that the cash-in was a success. When it's all said and done, if I'm remembered for nothing else, I will live forever in that moment.
Big thanks to Seth Rollins for giving us the time to talk about WrestleMania 31 and the cash-in heard around the world. Now it's up to you to figure out how you're going to walk out of this incredible encounter with the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. They've built it up, but can you burn it down?
From the immediate outset, Brock Lesnar was out to prove that Roman Reigns did not belong in the same ring as him. Lesnar was not impressed with the Royal Rumble win, and he was not impressed with Roman's past achievements. Roman had come in extremely self-confident. Trying to return Brock's head-on approach, Roman instead ran right into an F5. One thing I remember vividly was that Lesnar didn't immediately go for the pin. Some people think it was respectful, you know, like Roman's not done yet. I saw it as Lesnar not wanting to let Reigns off the hook so easy. Brock Lesnar was out to humiliate Roman Reigns. He's hurt, so keep hurting him. It was going exactly how Brock Lesnar wanted it to go. Another F5 put his brash challenger down on the mat. What more could Lesnar do to humiliate this guy? Brock had an idea. Removing his gloves, ensuring that any punch he landed would do even more damage. But when Brock opened up the barrage with a slap, it seemed to awaken something within Reigns. Brock continued to hammer him, but was met only by laughter from his challenger. Now it appeared that Roman was trying to humiliate Brock. Who in their right mind laughs in the face of Brock Lesnar? Two monstrous German suplexes got the intended result. Roman Reigns wasn't smiling anymore, and Suplex City was born. And when Brock followed that up with yet another F5, it looked like that was all she wrote. But Roman Reigns would give everyone a glimpse of what he had inside, somehow kicking out at 2. For the first time in the entire match, Brock Lesnar seemed at a loss as to what to do next. Would he just have to hit F5 after F5 until Roman stayed down? Everyone in the stadium thought Roman was done after that F5. He was showing us all exactly what he was made of, and it was clearly starting to frustrate a once supremely confident Brock Lesnar. Boom! When Lesnar hit that ring post, everything changed. Roman was now in control, and he had badly hurt the champion. He's not a machine, he's a man. Once Brock had made it back into the ring, Roman knew he had to act immediately. Lesnar had dominated the match to this point, and Reigns likely wouldn't get another chance like this. One Superman punch landed, rocking Lesnar. A second Superman punch would connect, and Lesnar was on rubber legs as he fell into the corner. Lesnar looked out on his feet, and Reigns appeared to be catching a second wind. Reigns' attempt at a third Superman punch was caught by Lesnar, but Reigns couldn't bother to be impressed by the feat of strength. A storm of elbows and headbutts freed him from Lesnar's grasp and allowed Roman to hit the ropes and finally hit the third Superman punch, taking Lesnar down. A huge spear took Brock down again, but only momentarily. Roman didn't panic, backing up into the corner immediately. Roman Reigns leveling the beast with another heavy spear. But fate had other plans, with Brock kicking out at 2. Now it was Roman asking himself the questions. What more do I have to do? Can I beat Brock Lesnar? Can anyone beat Brock Lesnar? He had to dig down for whatever he had left inside to give Lesnar one last shot that would end this thing once and for all. Looking for a 4th Superman punch, Reigns instead found himself in Lesnar's clutches, once again victimized by an F5. Fortunately for Roman, the damage had been done to Lesnar, leaving him incapable of making a cover of any kind. Unfortunately for both men, Seth Rollins' music hit. Was he really going to? There was no way he was crashing the WrestleMania main event and cashing in Money in the Bank. With both Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns having taken serious amounts of damage to this point, what in the world could possibly stop Seth Rollins from completely stealing the show and the WWE World Heavyweight Championship? Rollins had crashed the party, but he wasn't looking to stay long. He looked for the stomp on Brock Lesnar, but found himself set up for the F5. But that spear from Reigns would be his last gasp. And with nothing left in his energy reserves, Reigns would fall victim to Seth Rollins' stomp. And in one of WrestleMania's most shocking conclusions, Seth Rollins walks out of Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar as the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. You had to feel for both Reigns and even Lesnar, as the two had thrown everything at each other in hopes of capturing the championship. But it was all for naught, as Rollins had now rewritten the story of his WrestleMania 31. Everyone thought his evening had ended via spectacular RKO, but Seth Rollins stole the whole damn show with WWE's greatest cash-in, leaving Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar completely stunned as Seth walked out the new champion. Michael Cole called it the heist of the century. It's the greatest cash-in that Money in the Bank has ever produced.
History made with Seth Rollins leaving the main event of WrestleMania, a match in which he wasn't even scheduled to participate as WWE World Heavyweight Champion. For my money, it's the greatest cash-in ever and only proves that Seth Rollins has always been the visionary. WrestleMania has always been the place where the impossible's made possible, where dreams become a reality. And that was never more apparent than at WrestleMania 35 in New Jersey, when for the first time in its history, WrestleMania was main evented by the women of WWE. Ronda Rousey arrived in WWE like a tornado, first impressing in her debut at WrestleMania 34 before steamrolling her way to the Raw Women's Championship at SummerSlam 2018. The former MMA champion looked unstoppable, using her wide array of throws and arm bars to hold everyone at bay. As Survivor Series approached, Becky Lynch, now SmackDown Women's Champion, would be set up to compete against Rousey. Unfortunately for Becky, she'd be replaced by Charlotte Flair after Becky was taken out of action following an inter-brand brawl on Raw. At Survivor Series, Charlotte would show a vicious side in a disqualification loss to Rousey. Becky, however, wanted this fight more than anything. At the 2019 Royal Rumble, Becky Lynch would enter the match in someone else's place, ultimately winning it all by eliminating, you guessed it, Charlotte Flair. But before everything could be finalized, more bad news for Becky, as an injury to her knee led to her not being cleared to compete at WrestleMania, and WWE would replace her with Charlotte Flair. Becky would not sit by and just let that happen, however, and ultimately got her clearance. With that, she was added back to the match, and we now had a triple threat set up for the Raw Women's Championship. The surprises were not done, though. Shortly before WrestleMania, Charlotte would shock the world of sports entertainment by defeating Asuka for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And now the match would be winner takes all, meaning the winner would be both Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. Three of the most talented women on the roster look to dazzle the world in the first ever women's main event at WrestleMania. Can you go out there and be the last kicker we all know Becky to be? Or will Charlotte and Ronda prove to be too much for you to overcome? Time to show everyone who really is the man.
Ronda Rousey was the obvious target for Becky and Charlotte, but Ronda immediately went on the offensive, bullying Becky back in the corner. And then turning her attention to Charlotte Flair. Ronda wanted to prove immediately that despite the stature of her opponents, that it was she who was the dominant WWE superstar. Outside the ring, Ronda would not let up, connecting with a Piper's Pit not only to Becky that threw her into the barricade, but also to Charlotte Flair, planting her onto the floor. A second attempt at Piper's Pit on Becky proved to be Rousey's biggest mistake, with Becky shaking free and throwing Ronda into the ring post. Trying to keep her momentum, Ronda ran right into a boot from Becky, staggering her long enough to allow Charlotte Flair to perform a suplex of her own to send Ronda into the barricade herself. Rousey had overwhelmed Charlotte and Becky with her blitzing offense, but Becky was able to compose herself quickly enough to avoid another Piper's Pit, leaving Ronda on the defensive early in the bout. Now, as we all know, a triple threat match is every superstar for themselves. But despite not being friendly with each other, Charlotte and Becky realized that it might be best for them to focus their efforts on Ronda. Looking for a double powerbomb, Ronda would manage to reverse, putting Charlotte in an armbar. But this freed Becky and allowed her to drill Ronda with a low drop kick. With Ronda out of the way, now the Queen and the Man had the ring all to themselves. With Ronda still down and out, Charlotte looked to take it up a notch. Her standard knee drop was made more devastating by the removal of her knee pad, and now Becky Lynch was in a bad situation. Charlotte did not let up, repeatedly slamming Becky's face into the mat. Charlotte was making the most of Ronda Rousey being down, willing to put Becky through the mat if it meant she'd leave WrestleMania as the Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion. When Charlotte tried to interrupt a reverse DDT to Ronda, Becky just added her to the mix, hitting a standard and reverse DDT combo to both. While her attempts at getting the pin failed both times, Becky was now in firm control and didn't show any signs of letting up. Eventually, Rousey found her momentum again and managed the jaw-dropping feat of placing both Becky and Charlotte into arm bars. Realizing that they were better together, Charlotte and Becky would turn the tide on Ronda. Muscling her up and hitting her with a series of double-team power bombs. Ronda did her best to fight free, but was overwhelmed by powerbomb after powerbomb. The two worked well together, but that wasn't the plan. The second she no longer needed help, Charlotte sent Becky to the floor. Charlotte knew exactly what needed to be done in that ring, looking to get the pin when she saw Ronda down. The Queen was in top shape, and despite not getting the pin, she was rolling. finally, Ronda broke free, and I remember thinking this was it once she hit Becky with that huge running knee. It was academic at that point. She rolled Becky to set her up for Piper's Pit, struggling through the exhaustion and pain to lift her up. And then Becky did the unthinkable. Reversing into a crucifix pin, she was able to surprise the former MMA champion with a pinfall to win the match.
Becky Lynch is the winner.
Ronda was not happy, feeling she'd gotten her shoulder up, but the decision stood, and Becky was named the winner. All three women left it all in the ring. While Charlotte and Ronda were not thrilled in failing to win, neither had any reason to hang their head in shame. Standing in the ring, holding both titles high, Becky Lynch's arduous road to WrestleMania had finally reached its epic conclusion. Becky etches her name into the history books, victorious in the first ever WrestleMania women's main event, leaving as both Raw and SmackDown Women's Champion after pinning Ronda Rousey in the center of the ring. A stellar performance by everyone involved, but it's Becky who had just that little bit extra to get her hand raised. It was another landmark performance by the man.